Hello and welcome back, dear friends, at Lit eCity YouTube channel, the one-stop destination for the preparation of English literature. Dear friends, in our series on videos related with preparation of NTA NET English, today we have brought a very special episode. It's a revision, key points on some very important 20th century novels. These are highlighted points and very, very important. So let's quickly go through these points. The very first point is about V.S. Naipaul. V.S. Naipaul won the Booker Prize for Fiction for his novel In a Free State in 1971. Now, the point about this novel is that it is actually made of three thematically linked stories about displaced people. The three stories are One Out of Many, Tell Me Who to Kill, and In a Free State. So this is basically three stories of three displaced people, and they are linked by this particular theme. The Well of Loneliness, published in 1928, is a novel by Radcliffe Hall. It is a story of Stephen Gordon. Now, the name may sound to be typical boyish name, but it is actually name of a girl, of a woman who comes from a wealthy family in England. The Well of Loneliness created a furor. It proved to be quite controversial because it was one of the first novels to forthrightly present the taboo theme of lesbian relationship, as the main protagonist Stephen Gordon, from her early childhood to her teen years, then in her later lives, involved in homosexual relationship with two or three persons, two or three women. So it was obviously banned in England for a long time, and it became, though Virginia Woolf, writers like Virginia Woolf supported it, it became a critical text in LGBT theory. Heat and Dust, published in 1975 by Ruth Prower Jhabwala, is told in alternating chapters. The story moves between two periods. One is that of 1920 and the second is of 1970s. Now, these two time frames basically belong to two different generations. The unnamed narrator recounts the scandalous history of her step grandmother Olivia, that when it was time of 1920s colonial India, she came here and has an affair with a Nawab. This particular scandal created quite a controversy at that time, and this unnamed narrator, she shares her own parallel experiences in India. Important fact is also that the setting of the novel is a small town named Satipur. Staying On, published in 1977 by Paul Scott. It is also winner of Booker Prize, is a sequel to the Raj Quartet, very famous quartet. In it, Colonel Tusker and Lucy Smalley, these both characters are also from Raj Quartet. They stay on in the hills of Pankot after Indian independence, and now they are deprived of their colonial status. So basically, staying on is how some Britishers decided to remain in India even after India got its political independence. The Road to Lichfield by Penelope Lively describes the experiences of a middle aged history teacher, Annie Linton, when she discovers that her dying father, whom she regularly visits, has been having an affair for many years. It is highly acclaimed novel because of its psychological insight into the mind of its main protagonist, Annie Linton. The Sea, a Booker winning novel by Iris Murdoch, is told in the form of a diary by Charles Araby, who reviews his past life through memories of a series of love affairs with various actresses. The Sea is once again, the title is taken from Virgil. I hope it is correct, Virgil's Aeneid, and it is basically about the various relationship in a society stifled with morality. Abandoned River, published in 1979, written by V.S. Naipaul, is set in Africa and it is a story of an Indian Muslim shopkeeper Salim who buys a shop in Central Africa from his friend Nazruddin, and how he cope with we can say the changing times. That is the core theme of this novel. Waterland by Graham Swift is a postmodern novel that deals with a series of events occurred in 1940s in Finland. Now, this Finland is basically an Irish area full of bogs and marshes. Tom Crick, a passionate history teacher and master storyteller, addresses his students in his last days at work and recalls various memories. It is basically a text, we can say, that promotes the theory of new historicism, reading history once again and trying to find out the loopholes, the blanks, and trying to fill them. So it's basically a postmodernist, a new historicist novel. Considered Arthur C. Clarke's best novel, Rendezvous with Ram tells the story of humans' first encounter with a visitor from the depths of space and time. Arthur C. Clarke is known as, recognized as, hailed as one of the greatest sci-fi writer of 20th century. In fact, there is an award named after him. In the story, in 2130, the asteroid warning system Space Guard identifies the alien ship Ram or Rama entering the solar system. United Planets launches a space probe which is called Sita from Phobos, which is a moon of Mars, towards Rama. Arthur C. Clarke collaborated with Gentry Lee and wrote sequels to this series, Rama II, The Garden of Rama, and Rama Revealed. The Master of Petersburg by J.M. Coetzee features the Russian novelist Dostoevsky, who is called back to Russia by the news that his stepson Pavel is dead. Dostoevsky, wrecked by grief and guilt, is determined to learn the cause. He reads fragments of fiction that his stepson left behind. Asserting his mastery, he begins writing his own fiction. So basically, Coetzee has tried to find out the writing process of Dostoevsky, how he has written the masterpieces like Crime and Punishment. So once again, it is a sort of meta fiction. The Child in Time by Ian McGowan is a semi-autobiographical novel about Stephen Louis, who is an author of children's book, and his wife Julie. Actually, the novel opens after the abduction, kidnapping of their child, their daughter, Kate. She has been kidnapped now for 2 years. This incident forces Stephen into a bout of depression, turning to alcoholism. It ends with the hints of hope and potential. The complete, we can say, space of the plot is very bleak. There are suicides and there are full of, we can say, passages showing depression, alcoholism of the main characters. But in the end, it ends on a note of hope. The Country Girl Trilogy by Edna O'Brien, Irish author, caused controversy by calling attention to the repression of women by the Catholic Church and the Irish government. The novels of this trilogy are The Country Girls, The Lonely Girl, and Girls in Their Married Bliss. It follows the experiences of two women, Kathleen Brady and Bridget Brennan, or Kate and Baba, how they grew up together in Ireland and eventually make their way to England. Carol Phillips' Crossing the River is an African diaspora novel following the life stories of three Africans, Nash, Martha, and Travis. The novel, which is set at different times in different places, it chronicles the lives of these dispersed Americans as they are assimilated into new cultures, along with selections from a slave trader's journal. So, once again, it is an example of postmodernist technique of pastiche in which different fiction and non-fiction elements are merged. The Salterton trilogy, the Deptford trilogy, and the Cornish trilogy. All these are written by internationally acclaimed Canadian writer Robertson Davis. The three volumes of the Deptford trilogy include Fifth Business, which is devoted to the character of Dunstan Ramsay, The Manticore, devoted to Boy Stanton, and World of Wonders, devoted to Paul Dempsey. These three characters who are introduced into the first novel, one of them causes a very simple incident which devastated the life of rest of the three, and the three volumes take three different stances towards their lives. Paddy Clark, Ha Ha Ha, 1993, winner of the Booker Prize, is written by Roddy Doyle, is set in Barrytown, which is a working class area in northern Dublin. It is told from the perspective of a 10-year-old boy, Paddy, and the events that happen within his age group, home, and school, especially his relationship with his younger brother Simbad and parents and his school friends. Nothing Like the Sun by Anthony Burgess is a fictional biography of Shakespeare. Its subtitle is A Story of Shakespeare's Love Life. Matthew Neal's English Passengers, published in 2000, is a historical novel that tells the 19th century story of a voyage to Tasmania, or modern day Australia, to search for the Garden of Eden. The novel opens in 1857 with the first person narrator Iliam Quillian Coeli, who is a seafarer and the captain of Sincerity, which is a ship. According to Queenie, published in 2001, is a biographical novel by Beryl Bainbridge, which imaginatively recreates Dr. Samuel Johnson's later years, when he was closely connected to Hester Thrall, the wife of a wealthy brewer. The novel has two narrative voices. The first is a third person authorial voice which tells the story, and at the close of each section, a second narrative voice of Queenie, who is Hester Thrall's eldest child. Her voice is heard, her point of view is presented. The Eye of the Storm, published in 1973, is considered as the best work of Patrick White, the Nobel Prize winning author from Australia. In fact, it was in 73 that White won this award. It follows Elizabeth Hunter, an elderly, very staunch and we can say commanding woman who is on her deathbed after a vigorous and uncompromising life. As she reviews her life and interacts with her attendants, all the characters are revealed in their strengths and weakness. She sees in front of her own eyes how her son and daughter, they are trying to snatch as much fortune as possible. Azaro, the narrator protagonist of Ben Okri's The Famish Road. Once again, Famish Road, it is a Booker Prize winning novel. Azaro is an abiku, or spirit child, destined to undergo a recurring cycle of birth, early death, and rebirth. Actually, the Famished Road is set in Nigeria and serves as an allegory of Nigeria's transformation from a British colony to an independent country. And this character of Azaro is actually, we can say, metaphor for the spirit of Nigeria. Janet Peterson Frame Clutha is New Zealand's most critically acclaimed novelist. Her first novels, Owls Do Cry, published in 1957, is autobiographical. The Edge of Alphabet is an experimental novel of surrealism, and Daughter Buffalo is a novel within a novel. So she is also a writer who does a lot of experiment in her novels. The May of Tech Club. The May of Tech Club in Muriel Sparks, The Girls of Slender Means, is a women's hostel. It's not hotel, it is women's hostel founded to provide respectable housing in London for ladies under 30 of slender means who work for a living in the city. Though the tone of the novel is comic, there is in the end a tragic incident when one of the protagonists is caught trapped into the fire which engulfs this particular hostel. A High Wind in Jamaica, published in 1929 by Richard Hughes, tells the story of seven children from two neighboring colonial families who are waylaid by pirates when their parents send them back to England for schooling. 10-year Emily is the protagonist. Now you can understand that it is a novel which we can say presages the very famous novel Lord of the Flies by William Golding. Regeneration Trilogy by Pat Barker depicts the horror of trench warfare during World War I. The novels in this trilogy are Regeneration, The Eye in the Door, The Ghost Road, and features real-life historical characters like Dr. William Rivers, who was a famous psychiatrist who treated many celebrities of the time, Siegfried Sassoon, a war soldier and a war poet, and similarly Wilfred Owen, another war hero and a poet. So friends, this is all. It was a quick revision dose for you all. Go through these points. Who knows, you may find 1, 2, even 3, 4 points asked in some form of question. Best of luck for your exam. Keep watching these videos, keep supporting, and keep informing me what should I make for your better spending of time on this channel. Thank you, friends.